Are you a green card holder living in the US? Then stop scrolling for a second, because what you're about to hear could directly impact your travel plans, your taxes, and even your access to government benefits. The USCIS has just rolled out new rules for permanent residents, and these are not minor updates. These changes are reshaping how your green card status is evaluated, especially when it comes to how often you travel outside the US, how you file your taxes, and what benefits you might be receiving. Here's the catch. If you don't fully understand how these new rules work, or worse, if you accidentally break them, you could be putting your green card at serious risk. That's right. Even something as simple as extended travel abroad or an incorrect tax filing could now raise red flags with immigration authorities. But don't panic, we've broken it all down for you. In this video, we'll walk you through exactly what's changed, what it means for you and your family, and how you can protect your permanent residence status. You'll learn what new travel restrictions and time limits are now in place, how your tax filings could affect your immigration status, and which benefits might now trigger reviews or impact your future path to citizenship. We're here to make sure you're not caught off guard and that you stay informed, empowered, and secure in your immigration journey. So if you're a green card holder, or even just planning to apply, this is information you absolutely must know. Like this video if you appreciate clear, trustworthy updates, and so YouTube knows this is content worth sharing with other immigrants who need to hear it too. Let's make sure we all stay one step ahead of the system. All right, so let's dive deep into exactly what's happening with these new USCIS green card rules, because the changes are more than just technical adjustments. They're the kind of updates that can have real consequences on your daily life, your future plans, and even your sense of security as a permanent resident in the US. And let's be honest, navigating immigration policies has never been simple. But this time, the lines between travel, taxes, and benefits have become more connected than ever before, and that's why understanding how they affect you is so important right now. Let's start with the travel piece, because this is something that touches so many of us. Maybe you're planning a long visit back home, maybe a family member is sick, or maybe you just want to reconnect with your roots for a few months. Completely understandable. But here's what's new. USCIS is now looking much more closely at how long green card holders stay outside the United States. In the past, many people assumed that as long as you didn't stay out for more than 6 months at a time, you were fine. But that line is getting blurrier. What we're seeing now is that even shorter absences, especially if they happen frequently, can raise concerns. If USCIS suspects that the US is no longer your primary home, they can question whether you've abandoned your permanent resident status. That word, abandonment, sounds extreme, but it's real, and it's happening. Officers are looking at things like how often you're gone, where your family lives, where you work, even where your mail is sent. All of these details add up to paint a picture of where your real life is. So if you're traveling often, or staying abroad for long stretches, it's absolutely essential to keep strong proof that your ties to the US are still solid. Your job, your lease, your taxes, your community involvement, all of it matters. Now, speaking of taxes, this is the part that's catching a lot of people off guard. You might think taxes are just between you and the IRS, but not anymore. USCIS has started reviewing tax records more aggressively during green card renewals and especially during naturalization applications. If you're filing as a non-resident or not filing at all, it could be seen as a signal that you don't consider the US your true home. That alone could raise red flags. Imagine this. Someone lives in the US for years, pays rent, works under the table, or maybe just isn't aware they're supposed to file taxes. Then they apply for citizenship or a renewal, and boom. The officer asks for IRS transcripts and finds zero filings or finds they've declared themselves as a non-resident for tax purposes. That's when things get complicated. USCIS might argue that your actions don't match your permanent resident status, and that could lead to delays, denials, or worse, a challenge to your green card itself. This is especially important for people who spend time outside the US or have income from another country. You need to make sure your tax filings are accurate, consistent, and show your connection to the US. It's not just about avoiding penalties with the IRS anymore. Now it's about protecting your legal status too. And if you're not sure how to file correctly or how your situation affects your tax responsibility, it's a smart idea to talk to a tax professional who understands immigration implications. Don't wait until you're in an interview room to realize you've been filing the wrong way. All right, now let's talk about benefits, because this is another area that's become tightly connected to immigration status. Whether it's Medicaid, food stamps, housing assistance, or any type of state or federal aid, green card holders have always walked a fine line when it comes to public benefits. But now, with the new USCIS rules and the reemergence of the public charge evaluation, that line just got thinner. What does this mean? Basically, USCIS is now more likely to review your use of public benefits when you apply for a green card renewal or U.S. citizenship. If they determine that you've become overly dependent on government aid, it could be held against you. Now, before anyone panics, not every benefit counts, and not every situation will hurt you. But the key here is awareness. You need to know what you're receiving, how long you've received it, and whether it might show up in a USCIS review. This is especially important for people who've lost jobs or needed extra help during tough times, like the pandemic or during family emergencies. If you've relied on public programs, and again, sometimes that's necessary and valid, just make sure you understand what the long-term impact might be. Keep all your documentation, and again, speak to an immigration attorney or expert who can help you weigh the risks and make informed choices. Now, all of this, travel, taxes, benefits, might feel overwhelming. And honestly, it is. Because being a green card holder isn't just about having the card. It's about what you do with that status every single year. Every time you travel, every tax season, every time you sign up for a program, you're building a history. And that history is what USCIS will look at when you go to renew, apply for citizenship, or in some rare cases, when they review your status unexpectedly. But here's the good news. You have the power to protect yourself. By staying informed, by keeping strong records, and by asking questions when you're unsure, you can stay ahead of the game. That's why videos like this one are so important, because unfortunately, the government isn't always great at explaining these things clearly. And let's be honest, many green card holders don't even realize they're doing something that might one day be seen as a problem. So if you're still watching, and I hope you are, take this as your reminder to do a quick self-check. When was the last time you reviewed your tax filings? Are you planning a trip soon? Have you received any public aid this year? These aren't just personal details. They're now directly linked to your immigration status. And in today's climate, USCIS is paying attention. We're living in a time when immigration policies can shift fast and without much warning. That's why being proactive, not reactive, is the best way to protect your future. You worked hard to get your green card. You sacrificed, you waited, and you earned it. So let's make sure no technicality, no oversight, and no misunderstanding takes that away from you. And finally, if this video helped you understand something you didn't know before, or if it gave you that extra push to double-check your travel plans or tax situation, then do me a quick favor. Hit that like button. Not just for me, but because it tells YouTube that this video is worth showing to other immigrants who might not even realize what's at stake right now. The more we share this information, the stronger and safer our community becomes. Thanks for sticking with me, and stay tuned, because in the next video, we're breaking down how these changes might affect your path to citizenship. You won't want to miss that one.